There's been a firestorm regarding Alistair Begg, the senior pastor at Parkside Church in Cleveland. He's come under scrutiny for a recent counsel given to a grandmother. The specific question was regarding her grandson, who she said was about to be married to a transgender person. Pastor Begg said, in a nutshell, she should go and take a gift. Now, some are outraged and have called for him to repent. But yesterday at his Sunday sermon, he doubled down on the advice he gave to the grandmother.
People want me to recant and to repent. To repent? I repent daily because I say a lot of things that I shouldn't say. I mean, check with Sue. But the fact of the matter is, I'm not ready to repent over this. I don't have to.
Hi, I'm Joanne, Jolee, and I'm so glad you're here. Now, after listening to his entire sermon, I really love Begg's heart. He hasn't deviated from his strong scriptural position, but he is wrestling with this.
We can disagree over whether I gave that grandmother good advice or not. Not everybody on the pastoral team thinks I gave very good advice. And as I said, on another occasion with a different person in a different context, the advice may be very different. But at least let's acknowledge the fact that what we're doing is we're wrestling with biblical principle. And when principle for, let's say, holiness of life comes up against the principle of love for your enemy, how are you going to put that together?
And he says he doesn't know why this is all happening.
What is this about? I said, honey, I don't really know what it's about, but yeah, that's right. And most recently, in dealing with Romans chapter 1. So I assume that anybody who picks this up goes, oh, well, wait a minute. Whatever he's on about there's no reason for alarm, because after all, listen to what he says.
Well, it's because this is a contentious, church-dividing, splitting, breaking point, crushing families. And so many like that grandmother want to do the right thing and they feel confused. So let me ask you first, should we go anywhere to build bridges as Pastor Begg teaches? Did Jesus go anywhere? We know the Pharisees accused him of being a drunk and hanging out with so-called sinners. That was an exaggeration, it was a lie on their part, but people still like to say that Jesus partied and that he did go anywhere. If you take a look at every instance of where Jesus went, he was in Jewish homes for dinners most of the time, with people who, some of them were unpopular, like the tax collectors, but all were either repentant or wanting to hear his message. So in every case, he preached, he taught through his parables. If the hosts had evil motives for the invitation, he confronted them. He called them out. He called them hypocrites in their own homes. He never held back. There's no evidence that Jesus went out for a good fun time to gambling places or brothels. The prostitutes that he encountered weren't there to solicit. And I see nothing to suggest that Jesus ever attended a celebration of something that we know is evil. I think it's important to note too that the only people that Jesus ever invited back to his place, to his private world, wherever that was, were only his team, his disciples. What we need to remember is that this is not a marriage. Don't fall into the first of that web of lies that we're having a conversation about attending a marriage. This is a mockery of a marriage. The entire world understands from the beginning that marriage is a union between any woman and any man. Interfaith, between a believer and an unbeliever, any races. It's a ceremony ritually performed throughout time with the cultural idiosyncrasies. Everybody knows what this is. Romans 1, it's weaved into the moral fabric of creation. And it exists in the same way that the physical laws exist, and they can't be defied, like gravity, right? No matter how you might feel about it, you're never going to survive leaping off a tall building. And this is a graphic representation in the physical world of the ramifications of defying the moral laws. This is why we see every outside of marriage living arrangement is a step down in quality of life, particularly for women and children. So there is no such thing as same-sex marriage, as many who have left the LGBT lifestyle will testify to. Blessed is the one who does not condemn himself by what he approves. Now, I do realize that this is the last verse of a chapter on matters of conscience between us and God, not hurting others with our freedoms and thereby condemning ourselves. But approving is a concept with weight, and to stand in what appears to be approving something that God calls an abomination is, number one, it has an appearance of evil. And this is something that we are told to avoid if we can. And two, you may be in danger of placing yourself in that same sinking ship. In these difficult cases, we have to be very, very careful as to our conscience and motive. So if we are acting in cowardice and fear, not wanting to upset the family, not wanting to risk your reputation. Perhaps you feel ashamed or embarrassed by the gospel. The cowardly, the unbelieving, the vile, the murderers, the sexually immoral, those who practice magic arts, the idolaters, all liars, they will be consigned to the fiery lake of burning sulfur. This is the second death. So it is right to challenge Alistair Begg here, because his grandfatherly heart, which he humbly questions, may lead others to make a wrong choice. This is not a marriage, so what is really going on? What is happening into this arena when we step into it? It's the ongoing fight in the spiritual realm. On the stage, there's an acting out of defilement of the beauty and mystery of marriage, Christ and the church. For this reason, a man will leave his father and mother and be united to his wife, and the two will become one flesh. This is a profound mystery, but I'm talking about Christ and the church. Gay wedding celebrations are an affront to the profound mystery of marriage as God designed it. Satan has tried to defile it. How can a believer participate sitting or standing in something satanic? Almost a year before the US Supreme Court legalized gay marriage, that was 2015, the Satanic Temple issued a statement that one of its priorities is homosexual rights, and that it sees homosexual marriage as a sacrament, the same as heterosexual marriage. Jesus drew clear lines in his associations with people, and I think that attending a gay wedding celebration is a line that should be drawn. I would say to my grandchild, my darling, that's how I talk to them, my love for you is unwavering. You were my darling on the day you were born. I was there, and I cherish our relationship. You know where I stand in my faith, so you know I'm not going to be at this event, but let's get our next lunch date on the calendar. I say stand firm and hard and fast in this, but continue, as you always have been, to be that source of light. Any degrading of the relationship will be their doing. These are tests for the strength of our convictions. And look, if the relationship was built on respect, then it's not going to take too much of a hit. Grandchild will be very disappointed, but grandchild will soon be needing a dependable, rock-solid, loving grandparent in their life. Pastor Begg responded to the grandmother out of real concern for the relationship with her grandson, of course. But again, we are contending in a spiritual battle. And anyone who loves their father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. Anyone who loves their son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. Thank you for being here. I hope this has inspired you in your faith journey. The days may be dark, but look for the blessings, because they are all around you.